What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is going to be Power Book 2, Season 1, Episode 4. So, listen. I'm trying. I'm really, really trying. So, we start this episode off. We have, I was going to call that boy Malik. Tariq on his way to go meet with Simon Stern. He gets a phone call from Mary J. Blige going over the 10 crack commandments, but she made it 3 crack commandments and, whatever. Pay in cash, don't be late, always pay what we agreed to, whatever. So he is going to go meet with Simon Stern, and who he ends up meeting with is his new husband. Which, okay, that came out of nowhere. But basically, dude is like a charlatan, and he sees Tariq coming, and Tariq think he has everything so figured out, but Tariq is getting deeper and deeper every day. And so, now I will say this part is very smart. Tariq has created an app, and in the app, he sets up for tutoring. And so, that's the way that the kids are going to basically let him know that they need some drugs. And so he sets up this whole situation. He explains it to Bray, because at first I was like, what is this app? What is he talking about? But with Stern's husband, they set up the money, because basically he has to figure out a way, when the kids pay, it's an app, so they pay through the app just like you would pay PayPal or whatever, and he has to figure out a way to cash out without raising any alarms. So dude was like, listen, Stern is gonna want, like, he ain't gonna do that, he gonna want a printout. And he was like, Tariq was like, well, what you want? And he was like, well, I probably could make it happen for 15%. Tariq was like, 15%? How about 3%? Dude was like, 3%. Then they went to 10%. Anyway, they settled on 5%. So Tariq, that's how he's going to get the cash. The kids are going to pay through the app. Stern is going to cash out the money, and that's how Tariq is going to get paid. Dude is going to take his cut. Everything is everything. And, oh, yeah, and Stern doesn't have to know. If y'all think Stern ain't going to find out about this, y'all got another thing coming, but that's another conversation for another day. Moving on. Then we see Tasha calling Tariq. Now, it is snowing. Okay, y'all, if I'm being nitpicky, I'm just going to have to be nitpicky. It's snowing. Is this first semester or second semester? If it's second semester, then okay, the snow makes sense. But if it is first semester, how the fuck is it snowing and we only in the 3rd week of school? In New York. Anyway, child. So, she's telling Tariq, look, you need to get a piece. I don't know who you dealing with out there on those streets, but whatever you're doing right now, stop it right now. Go get you a piece. Now, this one, I'm going to have to shout out my boy Retro G, from the, the Soul Firm, the one I do the podcast with. He brought this up. He was like, so last season, Tasha and Tariq had to get a gun from Andre because they ain't know nowhere else they could get a gun. But now all of a sudden, Tasha know all these drop spots around the city where she can find a gun. So she gives Tariq the address to one of the locations, talking about something. I'll text you the information when you get there, but you need to go and get your gun. Excuse me, because you're dealing with some crazy people, right? I don't know who you out there dealing with, but they crazy. Now, why she didn't just tell Tariq that somebody called her and threatened her, I don't know. Because then Tariq could have kind of threw that back at, Mary J. Blige, like, yo, what's up? Like, we had a deal. You ain't got to be threatening my mama. We good. And that kind of would have took the threat away, or at least addressed the threat. But whatever. Tasha ain't say nothing. Tariq don't know. He gonna be running. Got to add that to his other list of things to do. Is the scavenger hunt to find a damn gun that. Child. Anyway, so then we're in class. They're in class and they come in there talking about the fellowship. Now, here's where I'm confused, and y'all gonna have to clear this up for me because maybe, just maybe, I didn't hear it right or I misunderstood. I thought that. Well, maybe she said it's a possibility. I thought that being in nautical studies or gonical studies or whatever the fuck this shit is called, you automatically, like, that program was already an accelerated program, and that's why Tariq wanted to be in it, so that he could graduate in 3 years instead of 4 years. I thought that was like something they had already figured out. Okay, maybe not. But this is fellowship where you can go to DC and you can then you go to DC, you got the fellowship, it'll pay for the schooling, and you get to graduate in 3 years, which again, like I said, I thought that was already a done deal. So of course everybody wants this fellowship. Tariq wasn't interested until they said the 3 year piece, which again, like I said, I thought they were already in a 3 year program. Correct me if I'm wrong, if I misunderstood. So then we have old girl, Tariq's little girlfriend from class, go up to the professor after class and invite him to her house for dinner. And at first, it seemed like she was like kind of coming on and flirting with him. But then she was like, so you can explain the program to my parents. And I was like, okay, then maybe not. And he was like, okay, that'll be great. But maybe you should invite another student for optics so it doesn't look like I'm giving you any type of inside track or anything. I think the optics was also so don't nobody think I'm going over your house to do something I don't need to be doing. So she was like, oh, sure, that's great. And of course, here comes Tariq, like, well, I mean, I can come, for the purpose of optics. And old girl, the professor, the other professor, she was just like, giving him the side eye, because remember, she heard him getting it in the week before, and she didn't know who he was getting it in with, but I think in the beginning, she was looking at old girl like, oh, was that you? That I heard him slamming against the wall the other night? Oh, okay. But that was weird, but whatever, so we'll get back to that, child. Then we have this whole situation with Mary J. Blige and Kane, whatever her son's name is, confront the crew from the week before. And she lets them know, listen, the block is hot, and we tried to tell y'all to chill out, but since y'all didn't want to do it, so we're going to have to slow this roll down a little bit. We're going to cut y'all supply a little bit. Y'all think y'all in charge, and y'all not. So as they walking off, old boy wants to call Mary J. Blige a bitch in Spanish. Now, I don't know what made you think that she didn't know what the hell you said about her. First of all, even if you don't speak Spanish, everybody knows what punta is in Spanish. Everybody knows what bendejo is in Spanish. But she was married to someone who spoke Spanish. What the hell made you think she ain't picked something up in that situation? Whatever. Mary J. Blige turns around and says, say it to my face. And he look at her, and he get ready to say it. He couldn't get the out before Kanan knocked the shit out of him and proceeded to whoop his whole ass in front of his whole crew. And how about only one dude from his crew even looked like they was going to reach for their piece? Mary J. Blige gave him that eye like, is that what you really think you want to do? You really want to do that today? Honey. So that's what that was. They laid the smackdown on the crew, and I think they got the idea. So then they go through this whole thing. I kind of explained it already how the app works, but basically, kids who wanted, it's a legit app for tutoring. So they had to actually hire tutors to deal with the legit app, because of course they got to make it look legit. But then they had a little backdoor situation going on for the people who was just really trying to get some drugs. So like, if you tapped that you needed help in English, that was, weed. If you needed help in chemistry, that was ecstasy. If you needed help in something else, it was up as it was down as whatever. They had the whole system set up. Then they gave out free samples to let everybody know what the deal was really going on. Like, this app really is just, a delivery service. We really ain't doing a whole lot of tutoring. And so we see how the whole thing worked. We see how, Tariq making money and all of that. So he goes to take his money to, Method Man. Method Man is all here for taking the cash, but his investigator is like, hold up, player. Like, this dude is 12 years old. Where is he getting all this cash from? Like, you can't keep taking cash from him because you're going to have to show where you getting the money from, because he need to show you where he getting the money from. Now, Method Man thing is, listen, we getting paid. Why are we tripping? Like, I really don't care where the money coming from. But her thing is, you do need to care where the money's coming from, because at the end of the day, that might be your ass. Then we back in jail with Tasha. Listen, y'all, Tasha think that the CO is the one that's watching her, when y'all know it's really the other dude. And she go up to the girl that she gave the day after, the morning after pill, went up to her thinking, I guess she thought she had built a friendship. Like, you did a favor. You ain't really built no friendship. You did a favor. And girl told, she was like, I think she watching me. She was like, well, if you keep staring at her like that, she is gonna come over here and she gonna start fucking with you. Leave her alone. Well, I mean, I need to know if it's her. Oh, girl was like, that sounds like a you problem, and got up and walked away. Tasha, the block is hot. If you don't calm your ass down and chill out, because even if it is her, like, you staring her down ain't gonna change nothing. Watch your back. Just watch your back. Anyway. So now we are in the judge's chambers. We have the judge, we have Davis, we have Stacks offering, arguing about whether Stacks is dirty or not. And the judge allows Davis to actually, like, okay, we're gonna talk about it. Let's call a witness. Let's see what's really going on. So they call Blanca in there, and she's so stuck on trying to get Stacks, whatever, because she knows that he's dirty. She don't even realize that she is walking herself right into a corner. So everything that she was talking about that he did, the fact that he lied to Tate, and that Tate lied to him, and he knew, he kind of gave Tate the ammunition, and he knew that Tate's story was a lie. The fact that the whole Terry Silver situation, like, all of that made it kind of came back, because when Sachs got a chance to cross-examine her and started asking her questions, he was like, okay, well, if everything I did was so dirty, if I got, Tate to lie, why did you use that testimony? Why did you use that letter to go get a warrant? Like, if you knew the testimony was a lie, why did you use it to go, like, you knew, listen, it go both ways. The same thing with Andre. You said that he was the one that, what was the shooting? And now Sachs got cell phone records to show that he was on the other side of town. So he basically took all of that and blew it right back on Blanca. And not only did he blow it back on her, damn, the judge was like, oh, I will be forwarding a copy of this testimony to your supervisor. So your ass about to lose your job. Now, I understand what you was trying to do, but boo, that thing blew back on you so quick. Then, but the judge did say she wanted to see Tate. Now, we're going to go ahead and knock this one out the box. Tate took that subpoena down to them DNC folk and to, the DNC guy and said, listen, just make this go away because I ain't about to testify for nobody. And dude was like, no, you are going to testify and you're going to tell them that the James St. Patrick you knew was a pillar of society. He never did nothing wrong, nobody, no way, no how, and you're going to put all of that on Tasha. And Tate was like, okay, but you do know that he was a murdering asshole. Like, you do know that that's who he really was, right? Dude was like, and we don't care. What you're going to do, though, you will testify, and you're going to let them know that Tasha is the queen pin. Okay? So Tate goes down there, and he puts on his song and dance, and he says all the right things, and that's exactly what he does. And then he makes it, he says things like, let them know that, Tasha, you remember how Tasha was trying to set Ghost up about the whole Terry Silver situation, and I think he tried to make it seem like Ghost was gonna beat her up or whatever. It just made her look even worse. Listen, it keeps digging a deeper and deeper hole for her. It makes her look worse and worse every time. So anyway, back over to Mary J. Blige's house. She talking to the kids, okay? And she is letting the kids know, listen, this is how things are going to go. Okay, Drew, you are the brains of the operation. Kanan, you are the brawn of the operation. Oh, girl, you are the pretty girl that I will use to seduce at will. Okay, that is how this is. And I don't trust you because you went back behind my back and was calling your daddy and trying to get him to get on me. So not only did I take your backup burner to talk to your daddy, give me your real phone so you ain't talk to nobody. So she is on punishment. Okay. She tells Drew, I need you to go on down to the college to keep an eye on Tariq. Go be his friend. Go try to be cool with him or something. But I need you to keep an eye on what he got going on. And of course, Kanan was like, let me go down there. Let me talk to him. And she was like, yeah, see, that's not a job for you. Because you already know that you don't know how to act. You will go down there and you will act a fool. Drew will blend in just a little bit more on a college campus than you. So, of course, he gets in his feelings. And Mary J. Blige has to let him know, listen, you are on the team, but everybody got a role to play. Remember how you beat down old dude back in the alley? That's your job, okay? The brains part of this operation belongs to Drew. Now, of course, Drew goes down to the college, and Tariq sees him coming a mile away. Tariq is like, what you doing here? Because not only does he find Tariq in his new room with Brayden, like, he came up in there like it ain't no... You don't have to check in at the front desk or nothing like that. Like, I don't know about these bigger universities, but I know at my school, like, you couldn't just be rolling up in the dorms, just walking around all willy-nilly. But, of course, Tariq sees him coming a mile away. Tariq is like, oh, so you know, Monet sent you down here to keep an eye on me. Like, listen, I'm good. We straight. Like, it's gonna be all right. Like, she don't need to keep an eye on me. I'm not no little kid. It's gonna be whatever, honey. Drew was like, well, listen, it is what it is. You know, she sent me down here, so let's do what we do. So Tariq ends up going to an art class, and Drew goes with him, and they get into the art class, and Drew ends up staying for the whole class, honey, because Drew done found him a little boo thing. Listen, so it is at this moment that we find out that Drew is gay, okay, and he ends up hooking up with, and the dude is on the basketball team with Zeke, right? I don't know if that's gonna be significant or not, but you know they put it in, so I'll put it in. So he ends up going back to old dude's room and gets it in with him, leaving Tariq. Tariq done, rolled out and left him. So, that's important. We'll get to that in a second, chat. Now, Saxe is trying to figure out how in the world is Tariq affording to pay Davis, right? And he's trying to get his investigator to follow Tariq. And dude was like, oh, the minor? Listen, you told me we was doing this on the up and up. I'm not following the minor around. Voila, magically, who appears? His niece, who just got picked up by NYPD for trying to buy drugs in the park. And the niece is like, listen, my dealer was out of town. What was I supposed to do? He was like, how about not smoke? So, neither here nor there, child. He gives the niece a job to follow Tariq around, to go up to the college campus and follow Tariq, because he is still trying to figure out how in the world Tariq is affording to pay for Davis. Because, Davis is this high-power lawyer, and he really needs to get Davis off his ass, okay? So while Tariq is on this scavenger hunt, he's looking for a gun that I don't know why he didn't find last season when he needed a gun to kill his daddy. But, again, different conversation for a different day. He gets the call from Brayden, like, dude, where are you? Like, we are sold out. We are in high demand. I need you to get some more product. Like, this is ridiculous. And Tariq was like, I don't have no more product. Like, we are tapped out. So he was like, let me call, my supplier. Let me see what I can make happen. Now, he's on campus, and now look who's following him around is the investigator from Davis. She was like, listen, I need to give you this money back, because what you can't do is keep paying us and just cash like that. I'm going to need you to wire it to us so we can trace it so it can look legit. Now, Davis don't know she did it, because Davis was cool with the cash money, okay? And when Tariq goes to put the money in his book bag, what does she see? She sees that damn gun he just picked up. And, she's trying to talk to him about, well, how are you paying? He gives her this whole lie about he just stole the money from his grandmother. Child, I'm not even going to go down that road. And, of course, he puts on that innocent boy act that he likes to do, where he likes to play people. And I don't think she believed him more than the hole in the wall, but maybe she does, maybe she don't. But when she saw that gun, she definitely, wasn't believing it. So, Tariq needs to get more product. He needs to, he calls Stern, the husband, and lets him know, listen, I need to give you this cash back, and I need you to set up a wire transfer, make it look legit, make it come through the company. So now he want a bigger cut, because he was like, listen, he was like, that ain't what we agreed to. He was like, yeah, but you also breaching, you changing up the agreement. So if I'm going to do something different, then you got to do something different. If I'm going to do more, you got to do more. Now, while Drew is over to the dorm room getting his freak on, Tariq is blowing his phone up, trying to get some more product. The Mary J. Blige still has old girl's phone. What's the girl name? Mona? Anyway, she still got her phone. And she said, well, why is Drew calling you and blowing you up, but he ain't calling me? So she puts it on speakerphone. And I was like, Lord, I know she hoping that Drew don't say nothing crazy. But Drew was like, listen, I'm kind of indisposed at the moment, a.k.a. I'm in, I'm hanging out with the homeboy. And I need, Tariq needs some more product. So Mary J. Blige sends old girl up to the school to bring Tariq the product or whatever. And of course, she's happy to go up there. And they end up having this whole conversation. And she explains, my mama ain't stupid. and and he was like, I knew Drew was following me, and he was like, well, why can't I talk to you? And she was like, cause my mama already know that I like you and you like me, and it could be an issue, and my mama ain't even trying to have that. And Tariq was like, listen, I'm not trying to play nobody. Like, it is what it is. You know what I'm doing. You know what I'm trying to get done. Anyway, it was just one of those conversations. It wasn't nothing too deep. Mind you, Lauren is texting him talking about some on your way to my house, because that's when he's supposed to be going over to Lauren's house to have dinner about the fellowship. Why don't you pick up some flowers for my mama? She loves flowers. All the while he at the hotel, at his dorm room, kissing up one old girl. I said, Tariq, listen, you got way too many women. You got a lot going on, Tariq. This is a lot. You running a drug empire. You trying to graduate from college in 3 years. And now you got 2 girlfriends. You just got a lot going on. So, Tariq, once again, is late. Because by the time he get all that straight with Drew, an old girl, and he get the drugs together and all of that, he's running late. He tried to pick up flowers because the girl said, pick up some flowers for my mama. She loved flowers. The damn flower shop was closed. By the time he got to their house, honey, they was having dessert, okay? And somehow or another, both of the professors ended up there, okay? And they were acting like 2 children. They were going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it was uncomfortable for everybody who was watching, okay? Lauren gets Tariq out of there, like, let the adults play amongst themselves. And they go and they end up having a conversation about her brother. But come to find out, her brother was an overachiever who basically burnt out and is now in a facility. He got hooked on drugs and had a breakdown, and he's in a facility. So, then next thing you know, who come walking in the door? Lauren's boyfriend. Honey, Lauren had a whole boyfriend. Now, old light-skinned Keisha back in the classroom had made mention of her having a boo thing down in D.C., and that's why she was trying to get that fellowship. But Lauren says she's trying to get that fellowship so she can get from underneath her parents' wing, because she is not trying to end up like her brother. Anyway, back to the Mary J. Blige house. Drew is home taking a shower, trying to wash off his little situation, right? And Mary J. Blige walks up on him and is like, listen, where were you at today that you weren't, available? And he was like, I was just trying to take care of some business. She said, well, where's the money? And, he said, the money in my bag. And so she gets the money out the bag. And when she goes into the bag, she sees that he has his little drawing from the art class that he was following Tariq. And he had drew the dude that he ended up having the situation with. And Mary J. Blige basically told him, listen, if you read between the lines of what she was saying, like, listen, I know you gay. I know you out here in these streets. I need you to be careful, because at the end of the day, everybody ain't going to love you like family. And you need to be careful, because and what she said was all men aren't the same, right? She's like, all men are not the same. So I feel like that was her way of letting him know, listen, I already know how you rolling. I know what you're doing. I just need you to be careful. But I feel like the sister knows, but I feel like Kanan does not know. Okay? So, the next day, they're in class. No, the 2 professors go back to the room and end up having sex. I don't know why I don't know if it's important or not, but I guess I just got to mention it, child. They end up having sex again. So, the next day in class, Tariq comes to class, and Lauren, she walks off and sits by herself because she thinks Tariq gonna be mad at her because the little boyfriend showed up. And Tariq was like, listen, I ain't mad about what happened. Understand, like, I get it. Like, you have options and opportunity. I got options and opportunity. So, I'm not afraid of a little competition for the fellowship or for you. So it is what it is. And at that point, he gets a text from old girl. And Lauren looks at his phone, and she was like, well, who was that? He was like I said, everybody got opportunity. I said, okay, player. Now, they are at the frat party club, and Sax's niece comes rolling in there, trying to find, Tariq and keep an eye on Tariq. Honey, the other drug dealer on campus, that's their competition. Tariq basically sets the drug dealer up to punch Braden. Because he remembers what happened at the last frat party when something went down with Braden's brother. He remembered how much clout, how much push they have on campus. So when the drug dealer ended up punching Braden and they ended up getting into a fight, Now, old girl was there, and she, took video of it, and she ended up getting pictures of Tariq. Oh, I forgot. Drew took pictures of Tariq too when they were at art class. Okay. So she ends up taking pictures of Tariq and sending it to Sax. Like, he had this party, but it didn't get him doing nothing incriminating. Just had a damn frat party in college. Like, that's what kids do. The drug dealer ends up getting kicked out of school. Why? Because he punched Braden, who, Braden's family don't play that, so he got kicked out of school. So Tariq was able to eliminate the competition that way. Next thing you know, Tasha is getting a text of a picture of Tariq in art class, the picture that Drew took, and basically talking about he acting right, he can stay above ground for another day. I was like, that doesn't make sense either. Anyway, that one don't make sense either. Then we have this moment, we see that Method Man and his investigator are sleeping together. And so we have this beautiful love scene where we get to see all of Clifford. Yes. I was here for it. I need more of it in my life. Okay. And she basically talks to him, and that's when she gets word of the wire transfer, because Tariq done transferred the money. And she's telling him, listen, I went to him and I let him know we need to get that money through a wire. We need to get through through a legit situation, because at the end of the day, I ain't trying to get you hemmed up. Like, we worked too hard to build this for us to get this hemmed up. And just at that moment, he was like, yeah, you're right. Good looking out. And she was like, yeah, speaking of which, here go your, Mike, you might want to take this. His wedding ring. I said, damn, so they having an affair? I thought they was just straight up because I already kind of felt like they were sleeping together. So, while he's talking to her, he's also saying, listen, we need to find a witness that's impeachable, that's not impeachable. Like, we got the future governor of New York saying that Tasha was a queen pin. We got Blanca, who, yeah, she gave us some great testimony, but she done damn impeached her own self, because she used the information that she knew was fake to get what she wanted. And they came up with who? Tamika. So they done subpoenaed Tamika's ass, and she is pissed about it. So, y'all, that's where it was. That's what it is. I'm sorry that this was so long, but I've been trying to give y'all all I got. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. Talk to y'all later. Peace.